Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I am your presenter today. My name is Laura Redmond, and we are going to be talking about one of Aero Workflow's newer features called Aero Advisor. So I believe that there are many of you in attendance today who have been using Aero Workflow as an app to organize and manage your accounting practice or your business. And then we have some of you who are not familiar with Aero. So we have lots of great webinars. If you're not familiar with Aero Workflow, I encourage you to attend those or come see us at conferences at the booth, or go to our website and learn about Aero Workflow. It's a fantastic tool for organizing the work that you do. And for those of you who are Aero Workflow users, then I'm really glad to have you here with us today to talk about this, one of our newer features. That's really exciting, and we just want to kind of show what it looks like to put it to use. So just a little bit about myself first to tell you where I'm coming from. I'm one of the founders of Aero Workflow. I also run a client accounting services accounting firm, which means we don't do tax or audit, but we do the bookkeeping and controller work. We're the accounting department for our customers. And so I've done that for the past 17 years, and we use Aero Workflow to manage all of the work we do for all of our different staff who are performing services for our different clients. So, today, let's take a closer look at, as I mentioned, this new feature we have in Aero called Aero Advisor. And before I show it to you, I just want to kind of set the stage for it. So we have found in talking to so many colleagues in the accounting profession that you're already doing this advisory work. We're hearing a lot about the term advisory and becoming an advisory firm and offering advisory services, and we find that you're already doing this in so many ways. You're meeting with your client on Zoom and showing them how to do things. You're advising them on which apps to use, which processes, how to perform certain accounting processes. You meet with them in person, show them how to do things. You create PDF or training guides, screenshots. You're constantly advising your clients. And there are a lot of different ways you can advise them, but let's just boil it down to helping them, show them how to do things that's within your expertise. And so that way you're giving advice to them. And Aero Advisor is a solution for that. It's a way to document how to do things and then be able to scale that. So that's taking the knowledge that you have as a practitioner, as an accounting professional, and as a firm, for grouping together all the staff and all of the knowledge you all have collectively and being able to scale that. So the things that you're teaching or advising your clients on could be something you specialize in. You may have a particular niche. It may be a particular industry or profession, or it could be a particular accounting software. There are lots of things that you have expertise in or you have experience in that you can advise others on. So Aero Advisor is a way to create these procedure guides with screenshots, with links to videos you may have recorded, step-by-step checklists, and give it out to all your clients, give access to them in a way that doesn't give it away free, right? It's not sending a PDF and it sort of takes you out of the position of feeling like, oh, I should just give this to them. I have this, I've created this document. It's just a PDF, I'll just email it to them. It gives you a vehicle to capture it all and have it as interactive self-service for your clients. And I'm going to show you what this looks like too. and you can charge for it. Certainly, it's valuable information, and distribute it to all of your clients. So as you can see, I'm on a browser here, Aero Advisor and Aero Workflow. Aero Advisor, by the way, is not a separate software application. Aero Advisor is just one of the screens or functions. There are a set of screens related to it, but it's one of the functions within Aero Workflow. So if you have Aero Workflow, you have Aero Advisor already in it. So it is cloud-based, of course, and so any of your clients can subscribe to this new service when you offer it to them. It comes preloaded with your tasks that you set up for them in the form of checklists. And so that's a way that you can, if you have clients that you're sort of needing to help them, tell them how to do things the right way, then they can have this at their fingertips now. So your client would log in and follow your step-by-step instructions on how to do everything. Now, your clients may have certainly parts of the work that they do that you're not advising them on. I'm not saying that your clients are going to log in and do everything they do at their business by your checklist. I just mean that if your clients are doing part of, say, some of the warehouse inventory work, or if your clients are doing the bill pay and you've set them up on the bill pay system and they're going to do it, you can give them their checklist for how to do it exactly right, because there are lots of parts of that. Lots of parts of that. We all know that accounting is very, they're just very detailed. I'll even say tedious at parts. And especially the documentation around that can be tedious to find a way to pass that knowledge over. You train people, but how do they remember it when they need it, when they're doing it, so they do things correctly? Okay, so so it's web-based, of course, and these procedure guides and checklists are interactive. And so if you know Aero Workflow, it's just like that. It's the same checklist. They're going to be able to check off each box as they go. So you and the client can see, you can schedule it for them at the certain recurring interval that they'll be doing the work. And so it keeps everybody organized. Basically, if you know Aero Workflow already, this is a way to roll it out past your staff, roll those checklists out all the way to your clients who are doing some of the work that you've trained them on. Okay, so want to see what it looks like? Now, again, I'm not demoing all of Aero Workflow the way we're using it as an accounting firm, the way all of our staff are using it. This is, of course, they look similar, but imagine here that I'm going to demo what it would look like when you create an Aero account, a new separate Aero account, separate from your firm's Aero account for your client. But this Aero Advisor account is special because it's connected to your Aero account. So you can pass through any of the checklists into your client's account and they can use it. So you're pushing your processes through to your clients for them so they can go do their work. So I want to give you the feeling that it is a separate account, so they're not going to be messing up all the work that you have scheduled inside of, and they're not going to be looking at all the work you have scheduled inside of the Aero account for your firm. This is a separate Aero account, but it is linked to you. So it is going to be white labeled with your firm's name. Notice the firm's name and our logo is up here. The billing is going to go from Aero. Aero is going to bill you, the accounting professional. You can turn around and bill your client, whatever you want to charge for that. Give it free as part of some other bundle of services. Charge them a certain amount, however you want to handle that. And so here I am logging in as, hypothetically, as one of your clients. And when I log into Aero, I've come to this screen to do the work that's been assigned to me. So I am here in the work section. There are a few different ways to look at this same work. I could look at it as a simple list, and I can see the different tasks that are assigned to me, the client. I could go to the dashboard view and see, this is kind of a grid view. People like to search grids because when you get more than like 3 tasks, sometimes you want to look for a particular type of task that you want to do. You can look at it in a calendar view. Anyway, I'm just going to come here and start from this view, this grid view. And I see that I have 3 tasks assigned to me. So I'm the client, remember, and my accounting firm, whose logo is up here, has 3 different tasks that are assigned to me. So I can click into each one. I'm just going to click on the first one and work. This one is telling me how to work the bank feed in QuickBooks Online. So what you'll notice, now if you know Aero, this looks totally familiar. This is exactly how you and your staff are performing work. But this way lets you pass it to your client. So your client would be able to use these checklists to do the work themselves. They have check boxes along the way as they do the work. They can check it off. And as they get to a particular step, if it has a link to take you to, this says log into QuickBooks Online. So this link is going to take them to log into QuickBooks Online. So sometimes it's so nice to have the link to something. Sometimes you have it memorized, but sometimes it's a URL that's lengthy and you don't have it memorized. It's nice to have that link there. We also have links to help sites. And if you see this little library book, that's a link to the procedures guides. And procedure guides are different from checklists. The checklists are a bit shorter. The procedure guides are have screenshots, but when I say shorter, I mean the checklist might have just say confirm bank connection. And this is the procedure guide on how to do that. And then a few steps down, we might have another step that says match. And this is a different procedure guide for how to do the matching. So even when I say the procedure guide is lengthier than this steps description, I don't encourage you to have a huge procedure guide that people have to scroll through to even find. We love to keep these procedure guides short and to the point about this step or the few steps that you're working on right here. So as you can start to see, your client is now empowered with all the knowledge capital of your firm, telling them exactly how to do this work, and they've got the resources to do it right at their fingertips. So the next thing I want to show you, so let's say they do some of this task and then they don't want to complete it. They got interrupted. They want to save and defer it for later. Yeah, we'll keep the same day. They could give it to someone else in their company if someone else is going to do it, but let's defer it so that it stays on our list. And again, these are just different views. If I were over here, I would see the same one, the banking feed. This task got deferred, so I can come back and work on it later. So that's just a really quick visual there to give you an idea of what it looks like to your client when they log in to do this work that you're guiding them on. You can still have as a business not only this way of distributing to them your knowledge capital, how you do things and how they should do things, because it's the right way, because you know best, because this is your realm, this expertise you have. But this allows them to be organized about it. And sometimes these tasks are not going to be things that are scheduled. Sometimes these tasks are like when they want to know how to do something and it's not scheduled for them because they didn't know what's going to happen, like say they need to void a check or something. So I'm now going to take us out of the work section and into the template section. And in the template section, this is where your clients will find all of the library of things, of checklists that your firm has to offer for them. And they can come here and search for how to do something. So let's take that example. I was just saying void. I'm typing in the word void as a search. I'm looking for a task for how to do this. So let's say your client has to void a check. It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't on their list. They just come here and they search your library of things. I'm going to pause here just for a minute because I said the word library. If you know and use Aero Workflow, you know that there is the Aero Library, which is a collection of checklists pre-built by lots of accounting professionals in the world who have already created the step-by-step checklist for how to do a lot of common work that we do in some of the apps that many of us use. QuickBooks, Bill.com, Expensify, some of these apps. So that when your firm starts using Aero, you can pull from that library. You can use it just how it is in the library, or you can pull it over into your firm and copy it and then make changes to it. When you set up an Aero Advisor account for your clients to use, you will have the choice, and we're going to go look at this in a little bit. I'm going to show you what this looks like. You will have the choice when you create it, whether you want to show that Aero library all the way through to your client, or whether you don't want to do that and you want to set up your own set of checklists. If you do choose to show that Aero library all the way through to your clients, you absolutely can also add your own checklist. So they would have this library, this screen where I am now. I'm using the word library a lot. Let's call it a screen with a bunch of checklists in the grid. Some of them could be coming all the way from Aero's master Aero library and have ones that your firm made, or you may have chosen to not show the Aero library and you just want them to have from your firm. So in this case, this demo account I have, I think I'm only showing the ones that are from the firm. So that part's up to you. Okay, so your client has come here to find something to the steps on how to void a check. And you know, voiding a check, there can be a lot of steps if it's like a bill payment, and there are lots of pieces behind it. It's not as easy as just clicking the void button in QuickBooks or whatever software. So I'll come here and just show you that if I click, your client could click the view button and they can look at what these steps are. See? It's not just as easy as clicking the void button. They can see them, and then they can just create an arrow, which is create this checklist as a task for themselves. And in this case, they've just got their one business, and it's as easy as that. The steps are already there. They can save and start right now, or they can set it for a certain date. But in the case here where they want to void a check, they probably just want to save and start doing it right now. So you can go right into this checklist and start using it right away. So it's just a checklist again. I'm going to save and defer it just to go back to show you back to that template screen. So now that, because I didn't finish it, I deferred it, the voiding a check is right back here, so I can go work on it again later. But back to the templates I wanted to show you. In addition to grabbing one and saving it, starting it, you can grab one and schedule it, as I was saying, but you can also bookmark them. And we actually have, it's in Aero Library, how to teach people how to bookmark one. And so that's kind of great for your client who, you know, like let's say they have to void checks a lot of times. They can bookmark it so that it's right up here on their Chrome browser, and they just click that every time and save and run that checklist right away. So that's kind of a cool thing to teach them when you roll Aero Advisor out to your clients. Okay, I'm going to go back to our work screen, either dashboard or list view, and I'm just going to click on whichever, any task, just to show you again, we've got the checklist of how to do things. But I also want to point out that the firm, when you create this account that's basically under your account, or it's a sub account to your Aero account, it's a separate database. Again, your clients are not in your Aero account, but you get to invite the users and you can choose what permission level they have. So you could choose whether or not your users can add tasks for themselves, or whether they can add new users or not. Or you may want to give them the full admin rights to do everything in it. That part's up to you. You have that ability to give them whatever the different security levels are. And we have a whole guide on what the different security levels are. I'm signed in right now as a security level 6, which is generally equivalent to like a manager. I can create tasks, but I don't have the admin rights to go do some of the administrative things, settings inside of Aero. Now, in any case, even if you gave someone the full highest level security level 8 to do everything, they're never going to be able to see the billing part. This Aero Advisor account, which is a sub account of your firm's account, none of the billing resides here in this Aero account, in this Aero Advisor account. Okay, now that you've seen what this looks like, I'm going to, here, let's say I checked a few. I'm just going to defer this, save and defer. So your client has done some of their tasks. I'm going to swipe my screen, whoop, and go one way or the other. There we go. I just swiped over to a different Chrome user where I am logged in to my company's, my firm, into the firm's Aero account. And I just want to show you what it looks like to go to the template screen, which I also have for my firm because I'm constantly using the checklist that we've built or the checklists in Aero Library to delegate and assign to my staff to do the work in our firm. So in here, let me show you that void one. So I have these QBO void check. So there is one in the library, in the Aero library, but I can make my own for my firm. Let's say I do things slightly differently than the way it is published in Aero library. I can take that one and copy it and make it my own for my firm, or I can start from scratch and make one about voiding a check or a bill payment. But what I want to show you is when I click on this one, I have edit access because this one is one that I built. And I want to show you that for those of you using Aero already, you're familiar with the screen because you've made checklists that you keep in your checklist templates grid. And you write up all the steps. It's fully editable, but you may notice some new fields were added when Aero Advisor came out. And one of them is this publish status. And there are 3 different status here. Draft means that you haven't finished it. You're still writing up the checklist and you don't want other people to see it or use it yet. And then public means that any Aero Advisor accounts you have for your clients' businesses, for each of your clients, you make a sub Aero account under your firm's account called an Aero Advisor account or a managed account. If you make this checklist public, which this one is, that means it shows through to your clients' Aero accounts. Now, let's say you have one that's for your firm only and you don't want it to go out to your managed account, your Aero Advisor accounts. Then you could use status firm only, and then this one would not show up in there when they go to checklist templates and search for it, it would not show. So this one was public, and then you can also put in the name of the author. These might be your different staff in your firm, or maybe you just want your author to just show your firm's name, because all your clients in their Aero Advisor accounts are going to see who the author is. So you could put your firm's name, or you could put each of the different individuals who wrote up the different checklists. And then this is and we can show you how to do this. We have the different links to the different logos that'll show. I'll take you back out there and show you that screen. What I mean by the logo. So this was the void check one. See these logos that kind of show out here on this grid when people come searching for checklist templates? we have a list of those. All of this is in our, if you go to help and search in our support, you can find the list of logos or ping us in support and we'll give it right to you. So that is, that's how you take a checklist. Again, I'm logged in now as Laura for my firm. This is the master parent over all of my different clients' Aero Advisor accounts. And that's how I publish one out to all of my clients' accounts. Now, I just want to drive another thing home. I'm just trying to use the same one because we've been using it as this example, QBO void a check. So I'm going to go into this one again into edit mode. Remember, this one is public, so it shows through to our clients' accounts, and we saw it. Remember, we saw it when I was on the other user. So I'm going to add a step here, and I'm going to say, hello, what is today? Is today the 11th? 12th, woo, off a day. Hello, May 12th. So I'm just putting some silly little step here, and I'm going to save the changes. I'm going to save and close this template. And now, and you can see I'm in a different Chrome user over here with these 3 tabs. And I'm going to swipe over here where I'm in another Chrome user. And you don't have to do this for Aero. I'm doing this for purposes of a demo so that we can put on different hats here. Now I've switched over to where I'm logged in as my client. And I'm going to go to the template screen. And let's say they want to void a check. And they come over here and they're doing it in QuickBooks and they want to view it or schedule it for themselves, whichever way. Look at that. The step, the change you made at the firm level rolls out immediately to everyone's checklist templates for all of your managed Aero Advisor accounts. So when you change these, you don't have to go, like in the past, let's say the app has new screens because they're constantly changing on us. You know, we're tweaking the workflow. And you would have had to go back to each of your clients and say, oh, this is done differently now. That PDF I sent you last year is probably out of date. So send them all back to me. I'll send you the new ones. Or I don't know. You know, this is how fast you can roll that out. So I am now going to jump right back here and take that off because that was live. And we don't really want to keep that there. Okay, saving changes on my steps, save and close, and then I come back here and this should be updated and it no longer has that step there. Okay, so anyway, that was just a sampling to show you how connected that is to your master account and how easy that is for you to keep your processes updated. Now, sometimes we have a couple of different ways to do a void check or something. You can have a couple of different checklists about the same thing with different ways to do it. So that, because sometimes one will change, but the other won't, right? So voiding a check in bill.com may not have changed. If you noticed, I had 2 of them out there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just discuss the general idea that you can create checklists and procedures from scratch in Aero in your firm, or you can copy them from the Aero library. And I'm going to show you again what that looks like. But creating templates for just one particular client, if you want to do that, then what you would do is when you create their Aero Advisor account, see now here I'm in this, my client's business name is Best Business Inc. When I'm in their account, so let's say I created one and then I have this checklist for something very particular to this company that wouldn't make sense for me to have rolled out to all of my other clients' Aero accounts. So when I create this company, or maybe it's a year later and they've been using my Aero Advisor account and then we create this new process. What I do is come into their company, and from here, you can absolutely create new checklists that are just for this particular client. Okay, next I want to show you a screen where if you're already an Aero Workflow user, you're familiar with this screen. This is where you set up all of your clients because you're paying bills for all different clients, or you're reconciling bank accounts for all different clients. And for your client to use Aero and have their own Aero account, it may be that you just come set up one company name, because all the work they're going to do is probably for their company name. But many of you may have this happen, and that is that your client actually has a few different entities. For example, I have a client who has 12 different ranches, and they are constantly paying bills for each of the different 12 ranches. They have to reconcile the bank accounts for each of the different 12 ranches. They have different credit cards on each of the different 12 ranches. I mean, as you can imagine, that's really hard for them to organize and keep straight. And they have one central accounting team doing that. 12 different QBO companies, 12 different Bill.com accounts, or whatever apps you're using. So what they do is they set up each of the 12 different ranches here, or whatever your client, whatever their entity names are, they set them up here. So when they go to set up to schedule, like reconciling the bank account once a month, they schedule one of those tasks at a monthly interval for each one of those. So they'll have 12 different recurring tasks for each of the 12 entities, and they'll schedule it for once a month. Or if it's not something scheduled, if it's like, oh, this isn't scheduled, but I need to go void a check, you can grab it, that task, like I showed you a few minutes ago, and you can assign it to one of the particular entities that you're doing that work for. You also don't have to put a company name when you're performing a checklist. You could, if it doesn't matter to you or to your client, they can just not use the company name. But many of us do work with companies, businesses who are managing multiple entities, and this really does help them stay organized with that. Okay, next I'm going to show you, keep going the wrong way on my swiping. Now I have swiped over to the screen where I am logged in as the firm. And let's go look at how do you create one of these Aero Advisor whole separate Aero accounts for my client's business. And the way you do that is you come here on this left navigation bar to Aero Advisor. So I'm going to click on that, and when I do, I've got two tabs here. Same thing, I've also got the two sub menu items over here, whichever way you like to do that. I'm going to start over here on the second one called Aero Advisor Settings. And I just want to show you that this is where you upload your logo for your firm, and whichever logo you upload is going to show on all of your Aero Advisor accounts for all of your clients. This is also where you will set the billing date. So there are a few options here that you can choose when you want your card charged each month, because Aero is going to charge you, and then you're going to turn around and charge your client, or handle that however you want to. So based on cash flow or whatever, you have a few choices here. The next thing I want to show you is the Managed Accounts tab. And yes, I did just mention billing and then not even show you pricing. I am getting to that, but it's in another screen, so I'm coming to that. So now again, I'm on Aero Advisor on the left, and then we looked at the advisor settings, and now I'm on the Managed Accounts. So when I come to Managed Accounts, when you haven't created any managed accounts yet, there are none. So I'm going to click Add New, and let's walk through what this looks like to open a new Aero Advisory account. So here I'm going to add like the company name, whatever the company name is. You do have to put an address. And then then you can pick from the different size databases that you want to create. This is the same if you use Aero Workflow. We have 3 different sizes, and there are 3 different pricing options on each of them. So when we get into the pricing next, you may be determining it based on size, or it may be based on how many users are going to be logged in. But basically, the reason behind that, the only reason we have that, is it determines on the back end what size database is appropriate for that size work and data that's going to be managed in Aero. So if there's just 1 user, then you might do sole. And the 1 user is your client user. So that is based on how many client users they will be. Don't count yourself. With each new client that you add as a managed account on Aero Advisor, you get 1 free for your firm. So this sole would be if you have 1 client user that would be logging in. If you have 2 to 5, you would pick the small size, and if you have larger than that, then you'd pick the large size. Okay, then the next option we have here is what I was referring to earlier. You have these library options, and you decide whether or not you want to show the public Aero library that we, the company Aero library, have aggregated from all of the different Aero library checklist authors who have created them over the past many years. If you click yes, show Aero library, then all of that content that's in Aero library will be available to your clients. If you click no, then that Aero library will not be there, but you can still absolutely go into your firm's account and take some of your checklists and mark them as published. Remember that status? You'll mark the published status as public. Sorry, I said the wrong word there. And put in the author name, and then all of your managed accounts will be able to see all of those. And then the premium account is part of this public Aero library account. There are a bunch of them that are no additional charge, and then the premium library has additional ones that we have had built that have an additional charge for the premium library. They're not charged per checklist that you use in any way. I'll show you the pricing, and you either have the regular Aero that has a bunch of freebies, or you can get it with the premium Aero library, which premium Aero library is just a different price. So you decide what you want. I'll check both of them in this case, or maybe I'll just check one. Okay, so when I create, click the create button, oh, thanks, Chrome, then we've created this new managed account. And now I've automatically been put into that new managed account. I'm no longer in my firm's account. And that's the first thing to notice, is that you're in the new account. So if you jump over to a screen, you won't see your regular work there that's scheduled under your firm. You're in the new account for your client. And now you could go, if your client needs a custom template for just this business, you could go create that, or you could go find some of your templates or from the library, and you could find those. I mean, you've got the void checks, you've got all kind of stuff, because I'm just doing a demo, so I did say yes to Aero library, of course, and all of those that all of us use would be available in here. Reconcile. This would have all kind of checklists, how to convert from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. All of that stuff would be in here for your client, because I said yes to show Aero library. So we have Canadian checklists, that would all be in here for my client. If you don't want all that in here for your client's account, then you just don't click to add Aero library. Okay, so you may want to come here and schedule tasks for them, or you might want to just go and invite them. And when you invite them, as you already know how to do if you're using Aero Workflow, you just come over to Aero settings and go to team members, and you can add. You can see I'm already there because I'm a freebie user because I'm the member of the firm that created this new Aero account for my client, and no charge for this user. And you could just go click add new and create another user now for your client. And this is where you're going to pick what security level they are. And you can learn about all the different security levels and find the one that you think is appropriate for that client. And that may be different for each of your clients. You may have a client where you're going to have 2 or 3 users and the controller is going to be a higher security level with more access to more features in that Aero Advisor account. And that client may also have an intern that's working for them for the summer that's going to be a lower security level. Whatever. You'll know for each of your clients which users to invite and what security level you want to give them. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what it looks like to switch between companies because I want to switch back to my firm. So I kind of hovered over the name of the entity in the Aero account that I'm in, and I clicked switch company, and that brought me right to the screen. And now I get to pick and go back to the firm. And now I'm back in my firm's account. So now I'm going to go to Aero Advisor and show you this managed accounts. Remember, it used to be empty, but now it has my clients in it. So as you add more and more Aero accounts underneath your firms that are linked to you, you're passing through those checklists, you're distributing your knowledge capital, valuable stuff, and you can track and manage them all here. I'm going to show you when I click on manage next to that new client that I am able to click the change subscription button, and that's where I can see the different prices. So I'll just leave this up here for you. This is, you can see greatly discounted. Your Aero accounts are greatly discounted from the standard rates. These are not published anywhere. Only you can see it. Again, I'm up in the firm's account on the manage account screen. Those screens don't even exist in your client's Aero Advisor accounts. Much of the functionality of Aero does exist in those managed Aero Advisor accounts for your clients, checklists, procedures, all the stuff they'll need to use, recurring, setting, scheduling, all of that kind of stuff. But this Aero Advisor management piece does not exist in those sub-accounts, in those managed Aero Client Advisor accounts. So they won't see this pricing. We don't publish it anywhere out on any websites. It's only here. You'd only see it if you came and created an Aero account and then came to change the subscription to see the pricing here. So I'll kind of leave that up there, but I just wanted to, now that I've kind of showed you what it looks like, and I think that hopefully you understand and can start to see the use case for this and how it can help you really capitalize on the great value of the knowledge you have. But there's, apart from understanding the mechanics of it, it's great to have like this interactive cloud-based mechanical way of distributing it. But there's also the piece around sales and marketing and how do I explain this to people, because there's not really anything like this other than just emailing them checklists that are a PDF or something. So you will want to spend some time as a firm developing what you're going to call it. How do you explain it to clients? Because clients won't necessarily know the name Aero Workflow, and if they go to the website, they may read something about how it's for accounting firms, and they may say, we're not an accounting firm. So you'll want to work out some sales and marketing, and I just kind of wanted to share with you a few ways that we've done it with my firm that seems to be working really well to help explain what it is. So one way we did it is here. I have, well, I'll just go to our website. So our website is not loading. This is not Aero's website. This is, am I too zoomed in? Well, we have a page. This is not loading at all. We have a page called Workflow. Let me see if I can just take you straight there. Yeah, okay. Note to self, my home page for my firm is not loading. Okay, so we created a page on our website that talks about this, so that we can just send this link to people, to our clients, so they can kind of read about it. So here we are talking to our clients about using guided checklists to do that detail-oriented type of work of an accounting department, which is a great conversation for you to have with your client when you're in an advisory role, and you may be doing the app advisory, helping them pick which app, helping them build the infrastructure of their accounting. You may be implementing the apps, but you may not want to do the work. Or maybe your firm does do the work of the accounting department, but you want to also be able to service clients and implement for them when the client has their own staff that could do the work. And sometimes your clients have staff who, they might not be accounting professionals, but they're bright and they could absolutely enter bills for the company, and they really just need your guidance. So here you get to be that hero and give the guidance without giving all of your time away every day, helping them do it, right? Every time they go to enter bills, you can't just be there at their shoulder helping them enter every bill that they enter. And the way you can do that is by giving them these interactive cloud-based checklists. So you can come up with your own naming for how you want to market it, but we even created a little video here. You can go to my website is redmondaccounting.com/workflow, and you can watch this little, it's like 1 minute long, and it just kind of shows it so that it's a visual you can give to your client to just kind of show them what you're talking about. And that kind of helps you sell it to them. Another thing I'll show you is we created when we give proposals, estimates to new prospects, depending on the prospect and what they're looking for, we may be giving them a quote on doing the work, their accounting work for them, or we may be giving them a quote on implementing it, but they might have 5 accounting staff, 12 accounting staff in-house who are going to do the work, but they've been doing it the old desktop way for a million years, and they don't know how to set up the online apps. You're going to set it up for them, but they want to do it, and you want them to do it properly. And so that's a great way that you can add a new item on to your proposal. Let me zoom in here so you can see this. This is just a screenshot I'm pulling up here. So on our proposals, we'll have a bunch of line items for whatever we're going to do, say implement QuickBooks Online, whatever. And then you can have another line that is these interactive checklists, whatever you want to call it. We're calling it workflow. Call it whatever you decide for your firm. And we have a little description of what it is. You can see here. And I even have a link to that web page that I just showed you. This is just a screenshot, so it's not showing that it's linked. But when this is in a proposal, it's hyperlinked over to that video so they can watch and see what it is. And then whatever you want to charge them per month, or maybe you don't charge them a separate line, maybe you roll it up in some other fixed fee for the implementation you're doing. Whatever you want, but because this is a monthly subscription, you know, you probably want to charge them something at some point. You may give them 3 months free or a year free, however you want to do that. But anyway, these are just 2 examples of the parts of sales and marketing where you want to think about how to start rolling this out to your clients. So in wrapping up, I'm going to go and see if anyone has any questions. Please, I hope you've been putting them in the question panel on the webinar, and I'll go see if there are any there. But I do just want to call out a few things here that I think you are getting the purpose here after seeing this demo. And that is that this Aero Advisor functionality inside of Aero Workflow app helps the firm keep their intellectual property. If you pass it to a client, you're not just giving it away, you're giving it away in a valued method where they're paying for it, and if the client leaves, then you can close the Aero account. Yeah, sure, anybody can go Control P and print a checklist, but I mean, the checklist is not updated as things change. The checklist is stagnant, and who wants to pull out a PDF every time they do their work? So it's not interactive with the check boxes. It's not interactive with the links. And the Aero Advisor accounts for your clients empower your clients' staff, who again may not even be accountants. It might be the office manager who is going to work the bank feed in QuickBooks Online. They might be very bright, very competent. Many of us in the accounting profession did other things first and then learned accounting, so they can learn it through these checklists. So where you have clients that maybe they can't afford to pay for your team to do all of their accounting work, you can sell this to them, this resource to them, so that it empowers them to be able to do some of their work on their own. And that allows the owners of the business, the executives of the business, to get back to doing what they do best, which is running their company. So this is an opportunity for you to distribute your unique method of technology and process beyond the firm directly into the hands of your clients. This helps you when you've trained your client in person or over Zoom and they leave and the new person takes their place, and now you have to train them again. And sometimes you can charge for that, sometimes you can't, but there's only so much they retain, and do they continue doing things correctly? I don't know, but these checklists sure do help with that. And your clients feel as if their processes are documented, and that's very meaningful to a lot of business owners. They feel, like their processes are all buttoned up and things are in order. And for the firm, what it means for you is recurring revenue. What a great source of recurring revenue. And it reduces recreating the wheel every time. You just keep those checklists updated that are distributed out to all of your clients, and you don't have to recreate one each time for another client. And you're still needed as a firm. You get to spend more time in those areas that are most valuable, which may be creating and keeping these checklists up to date, but also in implementing support and troubleshooting. With many of these, in addition to this workflow piece you see on the proposal, we'll also have another line item for a support plan, because we have companies that have 10 staff and their accounting staff, and they want to be able to call us or email us with a dedicated email address when they get stuck. So that absolutely still happens. And so you can also sell, in addition to this, support maintenance plans. So lots of ways to continue to capitalize on the value and resources that are related to all the experience that we have. Okay, do we have any questions out there? I'm going to turn this over to Sarah, who is working the Q&A panel.
Hey, Laura.
Do you have anything out there?
Hi. Yeah, we have
Hi.
some good questions. People are asking, first of all, if there's a sample company they can play with. The answer is no, but people who are already Aero users can certainly create a test managed account in their own Aero account and play with it and see how it works to share templates and to create recurring tasks in the managed account. And then it's very easy to go in and to the managed account you created. And Laura, why don't you just do this for us? Go in to the managed account you created and see that red button. You can cancel that managed account. The bill is not initiated until after that account has been open for 14 days. So you can play with it for free and see how it works and then cancel that managed account.
Nice.
I think that was the main, and then we did have a couple questions about creating tasks, creating recurring tasks in a managed account. And maybe you want to demonstrate that, Laura, but it works exactly like a regular Aero account.
Yeah, I didn't go into that because I was trying to just make sure we cover all of the Aero Advisor parts, but for this part, I certainly will show that. Let's do reconcile. So I went into the templates section of Aero. This is the same for anyone who's using Aero Workflow to manage and run their firm. So with reconcile, let's say we're going to do, I don't know, we have several here. Okay, I'm just going to say QBO reconcile bank account. Okay, what you would do, well, I'm in the firms. Let me, just for fun, go show you that this is over here in your clients. So when you set up your new client, remember I said, remember when I walked you through creating the new managed Aero Advisor account for your client, and we did it together, and I said it switches you right over into that new client's account, and you may want to go invite the users or create any custom checklist just for that company. And one of the things I said is, or you may want to go set up their recurring tasks. So when you're in that client's company, you could come over to the template screen and search for whatever checklist you want. Let's say QBO reconcile account. And I have two buttons. Again, this is the same for when your accountants are using Aero for their firm. You can either create a recurring one, and this just has more fields than this one. Or you can create this one time, like I'm just going to do this once. Okay, because reconciling account is a monthly thing, I'm going to click create recurring. And these fields are all the same, except it has this one section here where I can pick the renewal pattern. So I'm going to slow down now and show you these fields that I said are the same as when you just create a one-time task. They're usually kind of filled in for you. There are only 3 of them with a red asterisk that are required, and they're already filled in. So you really don't have to do anything, but you could. Let's say you had let's say this new client was the situation where it had like 10 different entities. You would have this drop down and you would see the 10 different entities, and you would assign it to which entity you want to reconcile the account for. And then I'm going to come back to this part in the middle, and then down here are all the steps. Remember, these checklists are already written for your client, so there are no changes to be made there unless you wanted to, particular for that client. So let's say that we're going to do this monthly, and we want to repeat it every month, and the first occurrence is we're going to start it, I'm going to say May 1st. So that it pops up on my list, but you might want to go out in the future, whatever your start date is. And you want this to be created all the way through, I don't know, the year 2023. You can go renew these later. And I want it to be the day of month. See how it's May 1st? I want it to happen June 1st, July 1st. So I'm going to check this box. Otherwise, it's going to look at the fact that May 1st was a Sunday, and it's going to go create it like that monthly on the first Sunday of the month. So I'm going to click Insert Occurrences. I'm still on the same screen, but what happened is next to my steps, it went and scheduled all these for that user. I didn't pick another user. It defaults to the user logged in. So I could have changed it to a different user, and it would have assigned it to, if your client has a couple of different users that are going to be using this, you could have changed it to a different user. So I'm going to save and close, and then I'm going to go see on my work screen that I'll go to the easier view. This is kind of the lighter touch view. See that one on May 1st, reconcile account? So this is going to pop up recurring once a month, and that person's going to have it on their list, and they'll click to accept the assignment, and they'll go about doing the work. And this is great for your clients who do have one or more accounting staff for their accounting department, because the controller or CFO, let's pretend like it's completed. The only difference between deferred and completed is now I go back to my list and that one is gone. If I deferred it, they stay here until you finish your work. So that one I just marked as completed, so it's gone. But what's nice is this manage section. I didn't show you either because this is the same for Aero Workflow. The same way that accounting firms are managing all the work that each of their staff is doing for each of their different clients. When you roll this out to your clients as Aero Advisor functionality, we're here in our client's company. They have this screen too. And if they have multiple staff, they can come here. There are lots of other webinars we can do on how to use Aero, because there's so much here, but you might have different users, and you as the controller CFO may want to double check, like, has David done his work for the month? Or David, oh no, David's gone out with dental surgery. We've got to reassign work to Adam, or whatever is happening there. And these grids work where you can drag up one of the fields up here, and it'll then group by that. So I can see all Adam's work, what's been done, what's not started, what's in progress. They can watch their accounting department and work the same way we as accounting firms can watch our firm at work.
Hey, Laura, I have a good question I want you to touch on is, how does the customer vault work in the managed accounts?
Well, the customer vault works, well, I think the answer is the same way it works in Aero proper. So if you have, so let's go into a task. Let me show the vault. So the vault is really useful to those of us who live in today's day and age with passwords for everything and secure information that we need. So when we're an accounting firm, we're working with different clients. They all have different logins to different bank accounts and whatever, AT&T account, whatever. And we keep those in the vault. And I'm going to show you how to get to the vault a couple of ways. One, when I'm setting up my different customers, if I'm the firm and I'm setting up my different clients, I'm coming here to manage companies to go look at their vault. That's all the secure login information. I might have their checking account numbers, credit card, I don't know, all kind of different things. Access to their 401k account, what's their depreciation or capitalization threshold, all kind of information, their tax ID number. Same with when your client, Best Business, has multiple entities. They might have different tax ID numbers, different capitalization thresholds, different things about them. So I've come here to the customer screen. I'm going to click on one of the entities here, and you can see that the vault is down here. So let's add one. I'm going to add something. So let's just say that this is the, why isn't my screen working? Sorry. Let's say that this is a bank login. I'm just being, and this is the username, this is the password. And these are the, security Q&A you have to put. And here's the link to bank, whatever the bank is. And you don't have to use these. You can use these if you want. We like using the types actually because we put notes about clients versus, especially when onboarding, versus login data. Okay, because we can come group it by what type it is. Anyway, going down a rabbit hole there. Okay, so I have put something in the vault for this entity that's Best Business. And I did that one because I know I have work here assigned to Best Business. So again, these are just different views, but for purposes of the newness of you all seeing things, I'm going to use this really cleanest view. And let's go in here and look. When I'm doing work, at the bottom here, I have access to that vault. These are all collapsed because we're really trying to, and you can collapse the side panel. Of course, we do want to point out the white label there to your firm, but your clients can collapse all that, and then they can collapse down the screen and make it small over on the side of QuickBooks Online or whatever. We really try to very hard to keep Aero very organized and just the checklist, and really try to keep the clutter down. But there's a lot here. So the vault is here, and you can see that the bank login that was set up for this company is here when my person is trying to do the work that they're doing. And each vault line has the security level. So security level 1 is the lowest. That's everyone on up can see it. So I'm logged in as security level 6 person, and I can see anything that's security level 1 through 6. If I had added something that was security level 8, then I wouldn't even see that row here. And now I'm doing the work, right? I'm the person who's now on a checklist doing the work. Let's say in my course of doing the work, I have some new password or some new something, and I add it there. This vault is absolutely able to be added to by the people doing the work, as well as from that company screen. Okay, did I answer that?
Yes,
Question,
you
Sarah?
did. I think that's all the questions. I did have one question asking how many companies can it manage? And I think they're asking how many advisor accounts you can have. It's unlimited. So if you have 300 clients and you want 300 managed accounts, you can certainly do that.
The sky's the limit. Go make as much revenue on your knowledge capital as possible.
I think
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to have everyone in attendance and asking questions. Thank you so much for your time. I am so excited to see how people use this. We've been having a lot of fun using it. We've involved in our firm outside of Aero Workflow, the company, and my accounting firm, Redmond Accounting. We've been having a lot of fun rolling this out, and our staff are all involved. They're all part, and they've done this work for years, so they always feel like this is the way it should be done. And so they like to write up the checklists and things. So you can involve and get everyone helping you create that in your firm to roll it out. So I would love to hear from you. Send me screenshots or posts or DMs or whatever, and let me know how you're using this. And of course, we are here as Aero Workflow. You know, we are here for you for both setting this up and for support all along the way. So let us know how it goes. Thanks for joining today.